If your faith was tested like Daniel's, would you stand strong? Imagine being in a situation where your very beliefs are put to the ultimate test. Picture yourself in intervention over human cruelty. It's a reminder that no matter how dire the circumstances, God is always in control. Despite a royal decree banning prayer to anyone but the king, Daniel remained steadfast. The decree was clear and unambiguous. Anyone caught praying to any god or man other than the king would be thrown into the lion's den. It was a law designed to instill fear and ensure absolute loyalty to the king. But Daniel's loyalty was to a higher power. He knew that faith or try to pray in secret. Instead, he opened his windows and prayed where everyone could see him. His actions were a bold declaration of his faith and his trust in God. He knew the risks, but he also knew that his God was greater than any earthly king. Daniel's commitment to his faith was unwavering, and his courage in the face of such a terrifying threat is truly inspiring. Caught in the act, Daniel was brought before the king. The king, though distressed, had no choice but to enforce. Daniel did not waver. He stood before the king with the same calm and confidence that he had shown in his prayers. He knew that his fate was in God's hands, and he trusted that God would deliver him. He was thrown into a den of ravenous lions. The den was dark and foreboding, filled with the sounds of hungry lions. It was a place of certain death, and yet Daniel did not fear. He knew that God was with him, and he trusted that God would protect him. As he was lowered into the den, and the thought of losing him was unbearable. He knew that he had been manipulated into signing the decree, and he regretted it deeply. But there was nothing he could do. The law was the law, and it had to be enforced. Sealed the den with a heavy stone. The stone was a symbol of finality, a barrier that separated Daniel from the outside world. It was a grim reminder of the king's decree and the power of the law, but it was also a symbol of the king's helplessness. He had the power to make laws, but he could not save the man he had come to respect and admire. The den was dark and silent, a place of death and despair. But God had other plans. In the midst of the darkness, there was a glimmer of hope. God had not abandoned Daniel. He had a plan to deliver him, to show his power and his faithfulness. But God had other plans. Through the night, he sent an angel to shut the mouths of the lions. The angel's presence brought peace and calm to the den. The lions, who had been ravenous and ready to attack, lay down peacefully. They did not harm Daniel. Instead, they seemed to sense the presence of the divine and were subdued by it. Through the night, he sent an angel to shut the mouths of the lions. The angel's presence was a powerful reminder of God's protection and his ability to deliver his people from even the most dire circumstances. Daniel spent the night in peace, knowing that God was with him and that he was safe. Not a single scratch on Daniel. When morning came, Daniel was unharmed. The lions had not touched him. He stood in the den, a living testament to the power of faith and the protection of God. His survival was a miracle, a sign that God was with him and that he had heard his prayers. At dawn, the king rushed to the den, calling out in hope. The king's heart was filled with what might be happening to Daniel. The king had grown to respect and admire Daniel, and the thought of losing him was unbearable. He knew that he had been manipulated into signing the decree, and he regretted it deeply. But there was nothing he could do. The law was the law, and it had to be enforced. Daniel answered, unharmed and full of faith. His voice was calm and steady, a testament to his unwavering faith and trust in God. The king was overjoyed to hear Daniel's voice. He ordered the stone to be removed, and Daniel to be brought out of the den. It was a moment of triumph, a victory of faith over fear, of divine intervention over human cruelty. God is still shutting the mouths of lions. Daniel's story is a powerful reminder that God is always with us, even in the darkest of times. He is our protector and our deliverer, and he is always ready to intervene on our behalf. God is still shutting the mouths of lions. In our own lives, we may face challenges and trials that seem insurmountable. We may feel like we are in a den of lions, surrounded by danger and fear. But just as God delivered Daniel, he can deliver us. He is our protector and our deliverer, and he is always ready to intervene on our behalf. So stand strong in your faith and trust that God will see you through.